Hey guys, okay, so here are 10 things I've sold this week. This actually goes from around about Saturday night, and I made my last video Saturday sort of evening, so it's kind of a continuation from there. I'll try and do this every week. Obviously, this not so much this week, but the last couple of weeks have been a bit slower than I would have imagined them to be. So sometimes you're kind of wondering, am I even going to get 10 sales? But I did get 10 sales and I got more than 10, but these are my 10 sort of ones that stood out for me. So first of all was this one. You got three figures. You got the red translucent and you got the green or blue kind of translucent. They're late 90s. I'm not sure what range they're from. I just couldn't find them anywhere. So I also bundled them up with this guy, which is a toxic venom or like a green venom. Unfortunately, he was missing a finger. He would have actually been worth around 12 to 16 pounds on his own. If you can find him with complete set of fingers, would be nice. But yeah, he's a pretty good figure. But because of the damage, I thought I'd bundle him up, and he would be someone who I thought perhaps somebody else would go, yeah, I'll have him for 6.99. Even with a missing finger. So yes, it was actually at bids, as you can see. So £6.99, one bid. I'm happy with that, as these were part of a bigger job lot that I picked up for like £1 something. So yeah, that was pretty cool. This next one, another auction. This was a Terry Pratchett Mort puzzle. I know this goes for like 18 to 20 quid if you do buy it now, but it did have some damage, quite bad damage on one side, as you can see there, and that on the front as well. The actual puzzle was in good condition and it was complete, but I picked this up for £1.50, and I didn't notice that when I bought it. I did notice that because it's right on the front, but I think I tried it at £10 for a while, and it just wasn't gonna. It just wasn't shifting it. It went through a full cycle. So I tried £10, but nothing. And then I just thought, sod it, I'll put it on at auction. 6.99 start, because I did free postage on this. So 6.99 start, and it reached 10.55. So was pretty happy with that. This is a good sale. Anderson Silver, and it's Jack specific, but it's also a company called Zuffa. So it might be like an offspring of them or a sister company. And it's a UFC 82 MMA Deluxe Series 7 figure. I got this in a massive bundle of wrestling figures recently, and I got really good money for him, 19.99. So I was very pleased with that, because I didn't really think much of it when I saw it. I just thought it was a standard kind of cheap figure, to be honest. But yeah, 20 quid for him. This was also a pretty good one. Not too much profit in the end, but I paid £4.99 in a charity shop for this. And it's a Micro Machines gas oil tanker city from 2001. And it all opens up into like a massive toy city. Yes, it was £5, but to be honest, I couldn't have left it there. It's far too good to be left in a charity shop. So yeah, I picked up that and I sold it for 20 quid. I was hoping for around 30 when I first got it or first researched it, but it was just sitting there for like a month, month and a half with just and it's not like it had any watchers or even much interest. So I dropped the price to well, actually I think it was 24.99. Sorry, and then I dropped it to 19.99, and it sold within 24 hours. So just for the sake of a fiver difference, it suddenly had a lot of interest. So that was pretty cool. This one was a very good one. It's a John Connor Sideshow Collectibles resin bust, San Diego Comic Con exclusive from 2007. And there was only 1,000 of these ever made. And this was number 84. And what's good is the bottom of the box says number 84, and also the bottom of the actual statue says 84. Always make sure they match. So yeah, it was very, very good condition. Nothing was broken at all. And I actually sniped this for £2.20 on eBay. This was like a month and a half ago, and yeah, it's been sitting in my shop for about £45 for a long time. And I lowered it. I decided to drop some money off. I was meant to do £39.99, but for some reason I don't know how I pressed 3 instead of 9. They're nowhere near each other. but I did, and it sold for that. So, I mean, I'm lucky. At least I didn't accidentally change that price. But yeah, so £39, 33 pence, and I'm happy with that from a £2.20 snipe. Next up are basically a bundle of Nintendo Wii mounts and nunchucks with straps. To be honest, I was surprised that these didn't go sooner. I had these up for like 26 quid. And they weren't really getting any interest at all. And I was noticing other people selling all theirs like the same days I had mine on. So I was thinking, well, clearly something's wrong with mine. Is it pictures? Is it description? Whatever. So I went through it all again. But I also lowered the price to 20 quid, which I know may be a little bit less. I could have separated them all and got more, but as a nice bundle for Christmas, 20 quid. Yeah, I don't mind that. Considering that this was part of a big bundle of Nintendo Wii I got, which was £25. And I already sold the Wii Fit board for 20. I sold a steering wheel for 5. I sold sensor bars and power supplies for like 16, 17 quid. I've still got a Nintendo Wii machine up at Amazon FBA for £25. So I'm going to be making money. So the fact that these also bought in 20, I'm happy with that. I'm well within profit. So, and lastly, this was a fantastic sale. This were a couple of figures that were in the massive wrestling bundle that I picked up, and this is James Storm and Bobby Roode. Here we go. That's Bobby Roode, and that's James Storm, and they were a tag team in a company called TNA Wrestling. They're not a tag team anymore because Bobby Roode joined the WWE, and James Storm, I believe, is still in TNA. But they were a tag team called Beer Money, and they were extremely popular. I mean, they were really up there with quite a lot of the teams that WWE have produced over the years. TNA at one point were really gaining ground. Not anymore, when they made a decision to try and compete directly with WWE, that's when everything started to go completely wrong for TNA. But back in the day when they were actually pretty good, this team was so popular, and the merchandise would sell out. So I decided to aim high. I've seen these go for like £12 to £15 per figure, and I saw them go together recently at auction for £25. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to be the only guy on eBay. I'm going to show a £40 price tag on it, which I thought would be too much, to be honest. But to my surprise, within 2 days, they'd sold for the full asking amount, and these are actually going to the United States through the GSP program. So I'm happy with that. Also, what I'm going to do next, I'm actually going to throw in a few Amazon FBA orders because I was asked on Facebook if I could add some, as I didn't include any in my last sales video. So sure, I'm going to add 3 in here. And here we go. What we got here is we got Night at the Museum 1 to 3 Blu-ray pack. I picked this up in a massive media hall. It was part of that. So this literally cost me about 4p. If you had to mark them all down, and I got £13.59, £9.99. That was the actual item, and I got £3.60 shipping as well. Obviously, I don't see that, but I do see that. So these are all Amazon FBA, but sometimes people decide to pay for shipping anyway. So that was that one. Then we have this one, which is the Vice Complete series, which was all of it. Once again, this would have cost me about 4p, and I sold it for 20 quid, which was pretty good. This is going to Germany, actually, I believe. Yep, Germany. And next up is this one, which I'm really, really pleased about, is this Disney Pictopia. I aimed pretty high on this, £29.99. I was actually more expensive than other FBA brand new sellers, which was quite surprising. As on FBA at the moment, brand new, you can get this for around 25 to 27. But yeah, I aimed high. I picked this up for £4 from a charity shop. This was quite a while ago. I actually tried to sell this on eBay for £12.99, and it just wouldn't shift. It just wouldn't shift until I went through like 1.5 cycles before I sent it up to FBA. And yeah, so I've been really pleased with this one. I mean, anything Disney tends to go pretty well, but to get £29.99 for a used, albeit in mint condition game, was really good. So yeah, thanks for watching. That's 10 things that I've sold this week. Hopefully, I'll be able to also say that next week. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have had a great week, great sales, and yeah, onwards and upwards. Cheers.